Hi everyone, Steph here with Tiny Finds Treasures, and today I am going to hit up a few estate sales in the Chicagoland area, with the first one being in Evanston, which is just north of Chicago proper. It looks like a beautiful house near the lakefront. So it's a lot of folk art based on a salesnet.app. That's where I find my estate sales. Fingers crossed we find something good. Let's go. Okay, this is quite interesting because it looks like there's hardly anyone here. So we'll see what it's like inside. I thought this would be packed. Well, that's really embarrassing. I've never done this before. The sale starts tomorrow, not today. Guarantee you I won't do that again. So we're gonna go to another one up the road a little bit. Now we're at a different one, and there's lots of cars out front. So I know this one is actually on. Apparently there's a lot of rare books and old books, and we'll see what else we can find. Here we go. I really like this wooden gold nativity set. They're like miniatures. 12 on that, not bad. These kind of apothecary jars I use for flowers all the time. Love those. I think $2 each for these is a pretty good price. Everything's there, so I think I'm gonna grab these. So beautiful. Okay, it's pretty busy and packed, so it's hard to get footage, but their linens are so beautiful. Oh wow, this one's like a table runner. Gorgeous. But I found these 401s for myself. Oh my gosh, I can't with her. And the flowers, come on. And embroidery. Just really beautiful. I've got a pretty big pile here. I'm grabbing and going, but I'm gonna keep going because I've got more house to go through. I'll show all of this to you in a second. Okay, Mama did really good at that sell. I only got a couple things to resell, but any Notre Dame fans out there, I hit the Notre Dame jackpot. Let's take a look. First, we've got the vintage Notre Dame sweatsuit. Your girl basically lives in sweats, and I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but they don't make crotches like this anymore, and I wish they did, especially after having babies. But I'm here for it. The whole thing. I got the sweatsuit for $40, which is maybe a little high, but I'm not mad about it because you can't find them like this anymore. This hat I absolutely love, especially for winter. If I go to a Notre Dame game soon, definitely wearing it or making my husband. $2 for that. $2 for this little pennant. Love, love, love. And then of course the old school vintage blanket. $32 actually, I think is a pretty good price for that. If you're new here and wondering why did she get all that Notre Dame stuff, I am originally from a small farm town near Notre Dame, about 30 to 40 minutes away. So we're big Notre Dame fans in my family. Moving on, these are in a little bit of rough shape, but I'm feeling confident with some wood oil. These babies will shine up really nice, and they were only $2 a piece. Salt and pepper, and I made sure that they had everything intact, and they do. So I think I am going to make those beautiful again and then sell them in my Etsy store. Vintage Chicago Bears hat. We live in the suburbs of Chicago. My husband and I lived in Chicago proper for a long time, so anytime I see some vintage Bears stuff, I pick it up for essentially my son, but my husband might be brave and wear it every once in a while. $12 for a hat like this is really good. If I resold it, I could probably get around 48, if not more. Okay, into books. Beauty, Health, and Strength. Must I say more? This one is really fragile, but look at this. Mr. and Mrs. A.E. Pigott with best wishes. Something J.B. Caldwell. Christmas 1899. How special is that? And then it gets passed on to my darlings, Marge and Billy. June 11th, 1930, mother. Now my twins are Winnie and Maggie, and sometimes we call Maggie Large Marge. So I had to get that. I'm wondering, do I add my piece here? All those years later? Over 100 years from the beginning? That's incredible. To Winnie and Maggie, 2025, love mother? I don't know. Comment below, let me know. Do I etch myself in or not? Charlotte's Web I got for my personal shopping client. This was the same one as her book as a child, so I'm glad I found that for her, $4. And then gnomes. I'm a huge gardener. I love gnomes, and what sold me was this on the actual hardcover, and it's nice on the side as well. Do I wish it was brown? No, I wish it was a different color. Like a forest green would have been amazing, but I just can't pass it up. I mean, look at that. And it's kind of fairy tale like, so yeah, with those pictures, I'm getting it. This one was $12, little steep, but I'm not making the drive again tomorrow to save $6. But these napkins, I'm showing you again because can you? I cannot. The floral detailing and this girl, $12. Again, a little steep, but because I love them so much, I'm gonna pay it, no problem. And $12 for this set too, which I think is just really lovely. Berries, floral, hay. What I see is kind of having like a tea party with my girls and setting these out. I mean, I'd be hard pressed to think that I'm actually going to do that, but having them in my house makes me happy and brings me joy. So I'll find some way to use them. Then we've got some vintage wool and leather gloves. It is hard to find gloves like this that aren't a zillion dollars. So for $12, I thought those were great, especially in Chicago winters. So that was a really fun one, much better than I actually expected. I don't remember seeing any of the Notre Dame stuff in pictures, so that was a really pleasant surprise. I'm really on a time crunch, but I'm going to try and hit one more, which is 50% off in Northbrook, and it's on my way home. So let's check it out very quickly. Okay, my brain was really malfunctioning today, and I don't have time to go to another one. I looked at the clock, I gotta go pick my son up. So we're gonna try and pick back up maybe tomorrow. We're house hunting, so tomorrow might be a little busy, but I only got to one today. Different than I had planned this morning. Definitely check when the sales are. In the estate sales app, make sure that you hit the today tab, not the tomorrow tab. That'll tell you what estate sales are today and what estate sales are tomorrow. So learn from that one. I've never done that before. We'll see you tomorrow. Hi everyone, Steph here. I am going back to that estate sale that I thought started Friday, didn't start till Saturday, and it is now Sunday, so it's the 50% off day, but I've got about an hour and 25 minutes, so I'm stopping at the Northbrook Goodwill, hoping I can actually find something this time. I've been on a dry spell there, so let's go take a look. Apparently Sundays are the busiest day at this Goodwill. I asked a worker before what the busiest day is, and she says Sundays. So I have not been here on a Sunday. Let's see what it's like. Okay, there is a large piece of original art that's actually quite beautiful that I think my client might be interested in. So I just sent her a picture, and it's only for $20. So TBD on this. Another piece of beautiful original art, more of a seascape scene, but I don't know if you're ready for this. $100. That's a first that I'm seeing at Goodwill. My word. Okay, I like this mirror a little bit. I really like the color. It's unique, but it's so small. $9 on that one. Okay, this is a hand-carved wood holder for what I think is like a drink holder. I'm completely blanking on what these are actually called, but it's not badly priced for $2. However, I think I'm going to leave it for someone else. Okay, when I found this, it was facing this direction. I was like, it's kind of boring, but let me take a look. And then voila. Not so boring. But $10? Oh my. It is artist signed. I just don't think that's enough margin for me, unfortunately, because that's a really neat piece. By the way, it's not busy at all. I'm actually quite surprised with how barren it is. So I like that. Okay, what's down here? Mary Nielsen, 82. Looks like that's just part of the glazing. It's kind of a nice lidded pot. It's really heavy though. Close, but not quite. Okay, I don't know that this is old, but it is pretty. I don't see any signature anywhere or anything, so I think it's probably new. And I know nothing about glass, but 7 on that. Are these brass? I guess. But they're kind of really light, so not for me. Whoa, 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 whoa. I just walked past this. Oh, I don't think it has the cord to it though. And it's in kind of rough shape, but for $40, you don't see that every day. Okay, so no luck again there. Kind of a bummer, but that's all right. I've got a little less than an hour, so I might try and hit the Glenview one and then get to the folk art sale. I mapped it out. We have about 20 minutes to kill before that estate sale opens. So the Glenview / Northbrook Goodwill on Willow Road. Here we go. All right, what do we have here? Okay. Kind of a cool handmade pottery cup. Oh, 3, but I don't love it, unfortunately. Okay, I just found this in the art section, and I really like it, especially for $15. But I think it's a print. I'm gonna look it up to double check. I looked it up. Yep, it's definitely a print. A really, really pretty one with a pretty frame. If that was original for $15, that would have been insanely good. Lots of mirrors here, and this one is actually catching my eye because I really like the frame. It's just not quite right for $13. To be clear, I think that's a great price. It's just not quite right for what I'm looking for my bathroom. This was almost exciting for $3, but it's really in rough shape. Still might be worth it, but I'm gonna pass. Okay, this is something that has piqued my interest more than anything else all day, and it is heavy. So I need to research it a little more. But I think this is handmade and it's very solid. So fortunately, I think I've gotten a little lucky here. According to Google, this is a hand-forged copper and brass jug, and it is stunning, the detailing on it. There's comps on Etsy for about $120. And do I wish it was less than $12.99? Yeah, I do, but I still think that might be worth it. It is heavy, but I still think it'll be decently easy to ship. And this is so sturdy, it's not gonna break. So I'm gonna cut my losses, take this as a win, and move on to the estate sale. Okay, someone has joined my cart. It needs a cleaning, but my son loves Squirtle, who's a Pokemon. I actually got him a little one for $1 at Goodwill in the past, but this one is enormous. So for $1, the joy he'll get out of that is priceless. He's enormous. Every time I come to this Goodwill, I see vintage sleds for $15. Except this is a huge, enormous toboggan. Actually very, very cool. But if I bring home another sled, my husband will have a conniption. We have arrived to the book art sale, and it started just 5 minutes ago. So let's see what we find. A lot of super interesting folk art. That is a great piece. Kind of pricey, but cool stuff. That's a pretty neat piece for $24 because it's 50% off. These copper pots are piquing my interest. Vintage Portuguese copper pot for $24. That's pretty good, actually. And this teapot, $38, half off of that. A lot of very different, eerie, unique doll things. Too scary for me, though. Such unique things here. This is such a fabulous old vintage music box. It doesn't work though, but I love the tin. Aren't those colors fabulous? I love this old German dollhouse. So beautiful. Okay, so I just realized it's actually a box to store the little pieces in. So I think this is gonna come home with me. It's also signed 76. Except I'm realizing the problem is there's no bottom. So I tried to lift this up and all of it fell out. I really like this fabric. And it's got a really soft touch, and it has snaps all the way across the bottom like this, but I don't know what it is for. Does anyone know? Comment below. A lot of old vintage dolls, including that gal's a little too much for me. His old workbenches down here are absolutely incredible. Amazing. I think this is the third time I'm seeing this brass angel. The other 2 times were at Goodwill. She's popular. Here's he used a lot of different mediums to make his art. I love these. $12. I'm tempted to get those for my girls. It'll be 6 today. I think he was apparently into old toy typewriters. They're all the way up there. There's a whole wall of them. I have never seen a collection like that. Oh wow, it's so cool to see what people were into. Oh my goodness, now you've got baby ones. $2 each, that's probably a pretty good deal, but I'll leave them for someone else. I feel like this one was almost really great, except for that damage at 20. This is an old vintage guess. Not just a cabinet. I've never seen one of these before. It is 60 today. A key holder. Keyholes everywhere. So interesting. I'm really on the fence about this box for $24. I like the old nail holes. Well, that was fun and very worth it. And I found this for my client who I sent the listing to her, and she picked this out, and fortunately it was still there, except 50% off. So 75 on this Antonio Fresconi. Very cool piece, and the frame is great. So I'm thrilled and excited for her. And then for myself, I got that market piece. I'll show you. So I went ahead and got that for myself / my girls when they don't put things in their mouth. So that was a successful estate sale. Really unique, kind of weird, handmade bulk art pieces. I almost got that box, but decided against it. Tell me if that was a mistake. For $24. I'm trying to be really, really diligent with what I buy, even though it doesn't always work. If you're interested in that antique and copper brass pitcher I did get at Goodwill, that will be posted in my Etsy store, Tiny Finds Treasures, very soon. It is a neat piece. The more I look at it and the more I look at comps, I'm happy I picked that up. So that's a wrap for this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. It really helps my channel grow. And also, if you haven't yet, remember to subscribe to follow along and join the hunt. I'd love to have you here. We'll see you in the next one, everyone. Happy hunting. Bye.